Good morning. Welcome home to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Joanna, and my pronouns are she, her. Thank you for joining us this morning. We who bring a teaching of hope, we who bring a saving message, who welcome all in our doors, Muslims and Hindus, atheists and pagans, straight, gay, lesbian, and bisexual, cisgender, transgender, non-binary, and intersex, all who are searching, seeking, looking for more meaning, more service, more love. All of us gathered here together. I invite you to put your smartphone on what we call the worship mode. That means that it's not going to make any sounds during the service, but you are absolutely encouraged to send out messages, post on social media, give people a little taste of what is happening today, and maybe even give them an invitation to join you here next week. Would you please rise now, either in body or in spirit, and join us in singing Morning Has Broken, and please remain standing for our chalice lighting.
Our chalice today is being lit by Wren. This is a congregation bound not by creed, but by covenant. May those in agreement affirm our church covenant now. We affirm a caring community of and for all ages, seeking wisdom, doing service, and living with integrity. In our diversity, our covenant holds us in unity as we celebrate our shared spiritual journey. Hello, my name is Renee Garcia. My pronouns are she, her. One of the many things I love about this church is that there are so many ways to participate. Whether you're young or old, brand new, or have been here for years, if you have a lot of time in your schedule or just a little, there's always a way to get involved and contribute your gifts. I'd like to welcome any guests we have today. We're so happy that you took the chance to walk through our doors and join us for worship. If this is your first time here, please stop by the visitors table so we can meet you and answer any questions you might have. This church is buzzing 7 days a week, and there are a lot of ways for you to connect with our beloved community beyond Sunday. The best way to keep up with what's happening is through our weekly email newsletter. You can sign up to get it at the visitors desk or by going to our website at liveoakuu.org and click on What's Happening. One thing coming up this Saturday is specifically for Gen Xers. We're going to spend some relaxed time together to explore how our generation's unique experiences shape the way we connect with others and build community. We will meet at the Panera on Lakeline Mall Drive at 11 a.m., and Reverend Joanna is also a Gen Xer, so she will be joining us. Our call to worship is by Cole Arthur Riley. I don't know what the world has been to you. I don't know those wicked things in the light that you've witnessed in the light and in the dark, the hand that grasps your throat even now. But I can tell you, you are not foolish for hoping. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed for what fight remains in you. And may what has been emptied in you be found in me. I trust that when the time comes, you will hold my hope when I cannot. Justice alone is not the destination. Becoming human is. This is liberation. We want no need for gavels, no need for sit-ins or philanthropy, no need for food drives or keys clenched between knuckles at night. We want more for ourselves. But until then, we speak, we organize, we create. We hold hope for one another on the edge of despair, our voices sustained in the collective. Whether they listen or fail to listen, our mouth is ours. There is meaning in that.
Each Sunday when we gather as a congregation, we bring our joys and sorrows with us into this room. And when we ask for remembrance or celebration or prayer or thoughts, we make of this sanctuary a sacred circle. And we have several here today. Rosella shares, my husband and I finally submitted our application to be foster parents. Send us positive thoughts as we go through this process. And Thomas Moore shares that a nephew has died of drug overdose. Please send positive thoughts to his family. And Chris Jarman shares, this is such a joy for me. Today, she celebrates her 3rd anniversary with Live Oak as Director of Faith Development. For those who don't know, we did a nationwide search and persuaded her to move here from Florida. And she writes, I am overflowing with gratitude for this amazing congregation and staff and for the ways we continue to show up in the world with love, courage, and compassion. Luke West shares, happy to be back home and excited for Owen to start kindergarten and Quinn to start daycare. And I got an email, concern and joy from Elizabeth Booth Barton, who has been a longtime friend of the congregation and started attending online. She's never actually even been to Texas before, but she is absolutely one of ours. She says that the concern that her condo building has been found to have serious structural weaknesses. There's rapid work being done to correct this so that the building is safe for occupancy, but right now it's scary and filled with construction noise. And she also wanted to share the joy that Catherine Inyart and Sandy Carter have been connecting with her. They have been present to her. She's been sharing photos about what is going on. And she says, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I would not have known or come to know better any of you at Live Oak. And I have a joy here from Tom Crawford, who says, he says some complimentary things about me as a minister. And then he also says, is also the love of my life and my best friend. Tomorrow we mark 35 years of marriage. I don't see how that is possible because we couldn't possibly be that old. For all of the joys and sorrows, both those that are spoken and unspoken, we bear witness with our care and concern. Please join me in singing. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary.
please rise in body or spirit for hymn number 16, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple."
If we have any kids in the congregation or those with the spirit of a child, you are welcome to come forward for our story this morning. So this story is called Too Much Stuff. Rudy, you're going to be late, Rudy's mother called up the stairs. Just a minute, Mom. Where was his red action bominator man? He was going home with his friend Ricky after school, and they were going to play with their action bominator guys. He had to find Red. He looked under his bed. Dirty clothes, books, shoes. He didn't see Red. He looked all over the floor. He tried to. There was so much stuff. He looked in his toy box. There were pieces of jigsaw puzzles, some old blocks, broken toys, no Red. You ever had that happen to you where you just can't find something? I know that there's some adults that are going every single morning. Rudy! This time his mom sounded like she was about to lose her cool. Rudy did not want to be around for that. Okay. He grabbed his jacket, ran downstairs, pulled on his backpack, and made it to the bus stop just in time. That afternoon, when Ricky's mom dropped him back off at his house, he went looking for his mother, and she was in the coat closet pulling stuff out. "What you doing?" Rudy asked. "Oh, hi, honey." She pushed her hair off her forehead and gave him a smile. "Did you have fun at Ricky's?" "Yeah, except I couldn't find my red action bominator man this morning." Mom sighed. "I'm having the same problem. I'm looking for your old jacket to give to your cousin Steve, but this closet is such a mess." She looked back at it. "Well, I'm tired of it. I'm going to clean this closet right now and get rid of the stuff that we don't use." "What are you going to do with all of this stuff?" "Well, the church is having a rummage sale," mused Mom. "I'll send a lot of it to that, and maybe some to Goodwill too. That way we can help others while we give ourselves room to see everything." "Can I watch?" asked Rudy. "Sure," said Mom. Now, when Mom said she was cleaning out the closet, she was not kidding. She pulled everything out, and it was amazing the stuff she found, things that they hadn't seen in years. When she was all done, she had a huge box full of things to donate, and the closet looked so good. Their coats hung straight, not all bunched together like before, and you could even see the floor. "And look," she held up Rudy's old jacket. It still looked good. "This will be perfect for Steve." She carefully placed it by the front door to put it in the car. "Okay, kiddo, go get ready for dinner." Rudy went upstairs to his room. He dropped his backpack on the floor and looked around. Where was Red? If his room was like Mom's closet, he bet he could find it. And so that's when he got the idea. At dinner, he ate as fast as he could so he could get upstairs. "What's the rush?" asked Dad. "Can't say," said Rudy secretively. "Ooh," said Mom and Dad. After dinner, he went upstairs and he looked at his room. "Okay, I need a plan of attack." So his eyes lighted on the toy box. first target. He opened it up, and the first thing he saw was a broken toy airplane. He went downstairs and he told his mom, "I think I need a large trash bag." Without questioning why, she handed it to him. Back upstairs, he put the broken airplane in the bag. Then he reached back into the box. Wow, there was a toy caterpillar that he had had when he was really little. It was a fun little toy back then, but the idea of one of his friends seeing it in his room made him shudder. He went back downstairs and found his dad. "I need a box," he told him. "Oh, okay. Are you going to make something?" "I can't say," said Rudy. Rudy put the cardboard box on one side of his toy chest with the garbage bag on the other side. That made it easy to clean out. Plunk, he dumped a pool toy into the box. Crinkle, he tossed some old crayon drawings into the garbage bag. Toys he still wanted, he put in a small pile in front of the chest. When he had taken everything out of the toy chest, he still hadn't found Red. But he did find Red's special rescue rope that he had been looking for months. He put the keeper toys back in the trunk. Wow, there was room for more toys in there. "Rudy, time for bed," Mom called. Rudy went to bed, but as soon as he got home from school the next day, he headed up to his room. "Want a snack?" called Mom. "No, thank you," said Rudy. "I've got things to do." Mom raised her eyebrows, but didn't say anything. This time, Rudy attacked under his bed the same way he had done his chest. Jigsaw puzzles with pieces missing in the bag, stuff to give away in the box, but still no Red, so he attacked the closet. It looked great when he was done, as good as Mom's downstairs, but no Red. Where was he? Rudy looked around his room. Inside the toy chest looked great. Under the bed looked great. Inside the closet looked great. The floor, he vaguely remembered it as having tan carpeting. It was hard to tell. So he attacked the floor, putting the good stuff in the toy chest, broken stuff in the bag, giveaway stuff in the box. As he was picking up the last few things, he looked behind his garbage can. "Red!" he shouted. He had been there the whole time. He looked back around his room. He couldn't help grinning. He knew where all of his toys were now. And he once had heard someone talking about their mom nearly fainting. He decided to see what that was like. "Oh, Mom!" And thus ends our story. Thanks for sitting with me. In 1973, a man wrote to E.B. White in despair about humanity.
White sent him this response: Mr. Nadeau, as long as there is one upright man, as long as there is one compassionate woman, the contagion may spread and the scene is not desolate. Hope is the thing that is left to us in a bad time. I shall get up Sunday morning and wind the clock as contribution to order and steadfastness. Sailors have an expression about the weather. They say the weather is a great bluffer. I guess the same is true of our human society. Things can look dark, then a break shows in the clouds, and all is changed, sometimes rather suddenly. It is quite obvious that the human race has made a queer mess of life on this planet, but as a people, we probably harbor seeds of goodness that have lain for a long time, waiting to sprout when the conditions are right. Man's curiosity, his relentlessness, his inventiveness, his ingenuity have led him into deep trouble. We can only hope that these same traits will enable him to claw his way out. Hang on to your hat, hang on to hope, and wind the clock, for tomorrow is another day. Sincerely, E.B. White.
This is not a baby sweater. Last December, this fit me. Turns out that sometimes when it says hand wash only, that's not just a polite suggestion. There is no undo button to hit. This is irrevocable. So why am I having such a hard time letting it go? Today we are talking about decluttering, both literal decluttering and also the form of decluttering our heads called deconstructing, where we are deconstructing ideas or beliefs that we were taught or that we absorbed, but that we probably didn't pick ourselves. Now, I can absolutely understand if right now you're sitting there and you're like, decluttering? That's what we're going to talk about this week with everything that is happening in the world, military troops in D.C. and Los Angeles, a diaspora of Texas Democrats scattered around the country trying to fight voter disenfranchisement, attacks on, by the Supreme Court, fears about what is going to happen. And then, of course, there's the environment and the wars and the national leaders, and really decluttering. Well, as artist Tom Goad put in a series of cartoons he did called The Life-Changing Magic of Decluttering in a Post-Apocalyptic World, as society collapses around us, we cling to life among the ruins. It is more important than ever to have an organized and pleasant home in which to cower. There is something about having, number one, being able to control something we can control and creating for ourselves a place, whether it is literal or in our heads, where we can come back and be centered in what we most value. What can make it difficult? First of all, I realize there are some of you who have no problem at all decluttering. In fact, you're probably itching right now, trying to get to this sweater so you can just, throw it away or do whatever. But for the most of us, who has trouble decluttering? Right. Vast majority of us, this can be a difficult thing. And what makes it difficult is the same thing that makes humans great. Humans make meaning. And it's like the most potent form of witchcraft that all of us do when we take an object or even an idea and we imbue it with memories and feelings and stories. Our flaming chalice right here, this is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, and it started when Unitarians were in Europe literally fighting fascism. And that history is a part of it. And for those of us who have been here for a long time in this congregation, this particular chalice, we have seen it is a rite of passage when our children can come up and light the chalice for the first time, either with their parents and then later by themselves. We have this chalice at our funerals. We have it at weddings. This is holding and is composed of so much more than metal and oil and wick. It is holding all of that. I imagine you have things like that in your life. I wear my mom's wedding ring now. And it's the same, the same ring that I saw on her hand my entire life, including when I was a little girl. Sometimes when I look down at my hand, I'm not seeing my hand, I'm seeing hers. And something that humans are also adept at doing is the same things that we can do in very healthy and life-affirming, life-giving ways. We can do it in unhealthy ways, and we can go too far, especially when we make something a superstition. And it's so easy to fall into that. Or when we have unhealthy emotions and stories attached to certain things. To give you a little taste of how this works in a non-tangible way, but with ideas. I used to be I did a chaplaincy where I was working in a hospital. And one of the things that became really clear to me is how important it is to do the work up here of deconstructing the bad ideas, the bad theology, to do it before we are in a crisis moment. What I saw, the one that I saw over and over again, it happened some with patients, but mostly it was with the loved ones of someone who was very ill or was dying. And I saw so many people who had been taught and they had absorbed the idea that if they loved God enough, if they prayed enough, if their faith was pure and they didn't allow any doubts in, then God would protect them from painful, horrible things. That's bad theology. It's not true. And so then what would happen is the worst would happen. And so someone would not only be dealing with this pain, which might be the worst pain in their life, but they also had that idea in their head. And so for many of them, they turned inward and they blamed themselves because, as we know, we've talked about this, one of the peculiarities of human psychology is we would rather feel guilty than feel helpless. But they would turn that all on themselves and blame themselves if they had only prayed more. Or maybe there was that one time that a little doubt had snuck in. For others, what happens is they turn it outward. They turn it to what their vision of divine love had been. And they deconstruct all in one fell swoop. Let me tell you, this is not the way to deconstruct, to be doing it during a crisis. And that's why it's important that we go into that closet up here when we are not in crisis and sort of sort through, because we can have ideas up there that we just haven't really stopped to question. And I will tell you, if you did not grow up in a high demand, high control, conservative religion, you're not protected either. Because we absorb things in the society. I grew up Unitarian Universalist. One of the ideas that I had absorbed was about gratitude. Because in our culture, we make gratitude a religious issue, right? You should have an attitude of gratitude. We have gratitude journals, and all those are great, except as humans, it's so easy for us to turn anything into a superstition. And what I had done, I didn't realize it, but what I had done is I had internalized the idea that if I was grateful enough, if I knew to appreciate everything that I had in my life, that there would be no need for life to step in and make something bad happen in order to teach me a lesson about appreciating my life. Anything can be turned into a superstition. As Tom Gauld writes, tidy surroundings will clear your mind and give you more time to focus on the important things in life, such as scavenging for food and protecting your home from giant insects. This is why right now, pragmatically, yes, we are also having a rummage sale at our church, September 6th, and absolutely that is a part of the timing too. But I would argue now is a great time to clear away the clutter in our heads and in our homes so that we can focus on what we truly value. When we are going through that closet and deciding what to keep and what to give away, that's one of the things that we're doing is we're saying, okay, what do I actually truly value that it is worth it to take up real estate here in my home? And with our beliefs, what is it that I truly value? And what are those other phantom beliefs that it's time for me to face and let go of? Just because someone who I know loved me taught me these things doesn't mean that those beliefs still fit me. And if we want to live authentic lives, it means doing this decluttering. And that pertains to the physical decluttering too. I think this is one of those things that makes it so hard sometimes to declutter, is decluttering often makes us face realities that we don't want to face, right? Things like, these clothes don't fit me anymore. Or, these activity things that I have, they're not actually that important to me anymore. Anyone have a half-done project that's been sitting there for it's been about 10 years now? We attach emotions to our things too. And one of the things that there can be shame attached to things. Oh man, I spent all this money, I got this thing, and I never completed it. Okay, well, I'm just not going to think about it. And when we actually look at it and come to that acceptance of, you know what? At one time in my life, this was something that was important to me, and I wanted to give this energy, but now I don't, and so I'm going to let it go. We are freeing ourselves, and we are moving into living a more authentic life. And the same is true with those ideas in our head. When we face them, then we can let them go. I also suspect that a lot of times, especially as we get older, what is attached to those objects is grief. And when we let go of this thing, it means that we are really having to face, especially with death, the finality that this person is no longer here. I am convinced that we do not grieve enough. And not just about deaths, but about anything. With change, every change, including changes that we want, change means loss. That's just how it works. And a lot of those losses, we should give ourselves the gift of taking a little bit of time and having the grief. Your kid is going off to kindergarten, and you're so excited. This is just opening up a whole brand new world for them. But we also have to face the reality that this other chunk of our life is done. It's gone. And it's good to grieve that so that we can have that freedom of moving forward. And on the practical side, baby clothes. Anyone here had a hard time letting go of some of those baby clothes or little kid clothes? Right. And I would suggest that it might be because we haven't given ourselves the gift of saying, I want my kid to grow up, right? I'm so excited about this. But I'm sad about the reality that time moves forward. And I'm sad that I don't get to experience that again. Keep only things that spark joy or will be useful. For instance, a childhood toy that conjures happy memories, or an axe that could decapitate a homicidal robot. Okay, so he created this, by the way, in 2017. And at that time, the big thing everyone was talking about in decluttering was a book by Marie Kondo. She was the name on everyone's lips, talking about, the magical whatever of tidying your life. And so in this sermon, I'm not going to tell you how to declutter because the internet has been invented. And there are so many, right now, I haven't read it, the Swedish art of death cleaning. Anyone heard it? Like, that's the big one now. Okay. There are so many different ways, and I will say, there is not one magic way of decluttering. For some people, it's taking 15 minutes every day, and you set a timer, and you do some decluttering, and then you go about your life. For others, like me, it's not, nope, I need to drag everything out, and then rather than decide what I'm going to get rid of, I decide what are the few things I'm going to keep and get rid of everything else. But I want to talk specifically. Marie Kondo's thing was that you should only keep things that are useful or that spark joy. Those were her terms. She said you should pick up something, and if it doesn't spark joy or it's not something that you know that you'll use, let it go. For some people, this can be very helpful. But pay attention to where you are in your life at this moment. And I hesitate to say this because I don't want to give you an excuse to not declutter. This is specifically around this way of decluttering, this spark joy thing. We got any fans of Gilmore Girls in the room? Okay. You don't have to be a fan. I'm going to tell you what happened. In this thing, it's called The Year in the Life. And this older woman, her husband has died. And she has this big, beautiful mansion, and her daughter comes to visit her one day, and the woman is just kind of manic. She has all of these hired helpers, and she is decluttering absolutely everything. And her daughter is like, "What are you doing, Mom?" and watches her, and she's seen her mom pick up something and go, "Doesn't spark joy. Doesn't spark joy." Finally, she gets her mom to sit down, and she says, "Mom, here is the reality. Your husband just died. There is no item right now that will spark joy. But it's not always going to be like this. And at some point, the pain is going to lessen, and you're going to look up and you're going to realize that you've given away everything and you're just going to have an empty house." So I will say, spark joy. If it works for you, great. But be aware of your mental state at the time. And usefulness too. Useful, I don't want to genderize things here, but gentlemen in the room, I think that y'all are especially prone to this one. And that is, "But I might need it someday." I'm seeing the men laughing. I'm like, yes. All other genders, we can do it too. Useful should mean you actually, in point of fact, use it, not it may be useful. If you have not used something in 5 years, maybe it is time to let it go. And I think that there's another thing underneath this, and that is part of decluttering can be stepping into greater trust about life, the universe, and everything. Having the trust that, this two-handled whatchamacallit that I haven't used in 10 years, I am going to trust that in the future, if I need it, I will be able to get another one of these. That means that we are moving from living in scarcity to living in abundance. And it may be that you will have the wherewithal to be able to buy one, but I would also suggest something we don't do near enough of in our neighborhoods, but also in this community. We can borrow from each other. I really wish that I would see more of that, like in our Facebook group, for someone to be like, so a tree just fell down in my backyard, because of the homicidal robots. Can I borrow someone's chainsaw? Because for most of us, unless it is part of your work, how often do you actually use a chainsaw? And if you use it a whole lot, do you need to talk to me about something? We can loan things to each other. That's part of being in a chosen village. And even if it's something that you need to go buy, I'll tell you, first go hit Goodwill. There is nothing that will move you out of scarcity, because I've become one, than to become a thrift shopper. Man, when you are seeing all the piles of things that were last year's Christmas gifts and now they're at Goodwill, that you can probably find that two-handled whatchamacallit right there. If an item does not spark joy, thank it and send it on its way, but do so very quietly so as not to attract the attention of the monstrous things beneath the earth. I don't know that you need to be quiet about it. So I said I wasn't going to talk about the how. I will mention this, and that is, yes, we are having a rummage sale here at the church. Haven't had one in, like pre-pandemic days. It's a lot of fun. When you donate something, don't be think that you're donating all the stories and the values that it adds to you. These are going to be great prices. We want all of our neighbors to walk away feeling like, oh, I really like that place. And the truth of the matter is, we're going to be buying each other's stuff too. So, starting on August 31st, so not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that, you are invited to bring your stuff and put them in the fellowship hall, and we will have people who are sorting them and doing. I'm sorry, I'm getting a message right now from Becky Gregory, our beloved president, who is also running the garbage sale. Unfortunately, we cannot accept water bottles, printers, large appliances, computers, mattresses, car seats, or cribs. It's in the newsletter. But other than that, bring your donations up here. There's going to be probably a lot that is not worthy of putting in a church rummage sale, maybe even not putting in Goodwill. Anyone got any broken things in their home? I'm going to fix it one day, this blender or that. For we liberals, one of the other things that is a barrier to decluttering is that we are concerned about the environment, and we don't want to put things in the landfill, right? And so that broken object, we feel guilt about, oh, well, if I could just get it fixed or whatever. And it is a valid concern, this concern about putting things in the landfill, but the time to think about that is not when it's time to throw something away. It's when we go to buy it. All of us, it's proven all the time. We buy far more stuff than we should. We should be buying used stuff. We should be borrowing from each other, etc. A friend of mine is here who we were in the same, but long before I was a minister, we were in the same home congregation. And he remembered one of my very first sermons. I was also talking about decluttering, because sometimes the preacher needs to hear certain sermons over and over again. I haven't learned the lesson yet, but he reminded me of a line that has stuck with him, and so I want to share it again with you. Your home is not a landfill. Your home is not a recycling center. And so, yes, I understand not wanting to put things in the garbage, but it's better to do that than to make your home the place where garbage lives. And I would also add one other thing, having gone through this with loved ones dying in the last few years. Your home is not the basement of a museum. Believe me, I understand wanting to be connected to our loved ones who have passed on and our ancestors. And so if you have things and you're using them, you have things and you're displaying them, great. But if they're being stuck somewhere in your garage or in a closet, let them have new life. I will say this is one of the things that motivates me, is the idea that our things, that a thing that I have in my house, if I no longer am using it, that it's not really mine, that it's actually someone else's. And it needs to find its way to them. I have to leave a little woo-woo in my life for things like this. What is it in your house that means nothing to you, but would mean so much to someone else? And we've seen this happen in our congregation when someone had a set of china and they were downsizing, and so they brought it to a previous rummage sale, and a couple that had just newly gotten married, they said, "Hey, do you have a set of fine china? You want to come look at this?" And that couple was so thrilled to get that. Your belongings may no longer be your belongings. Don't feel you need to hold on to unwanted gifts. Quietly discarding things is easier than ever now that the earth is covered with bottomless pits of sulfurous fire. Again, I want to emphasize this. You deserve a place of wholeness and a place of peace. And that is more important than just not dealing with the things, not wanting to add to the landfill. Empty space can be so much more valuable to our heads and our hearts than what is actually sitting there. Think how much easier it will be to fight off a horde of murderous reanimated skeletons when you know that you'll be coming home to a drawer full of perfectly folded socks. This is the last of this series. You can find it. It was in the New Yorker. You can Google and find all of these. And I know that the artist meant this to be sarcastic. Right now, I'm feeling this. What about you? I am regularly going out, all of us are these days, and we are fighting the murderous reanimated skeletons. We are going down to in fact, who here, who has gone down to the Capitol before, given the choice between fighting murderous reanimated skeletons or going and talking to your elected official, trying to get them to not do something terrible, would say, "I'll take the skeletons, me, anyway, yeah, bring on the skeletons." And sometimes it's something more basic as simply trying to fight the bigotry and the prejudice in our own families or in our workplace or whatever else. Life, right, it's not just your imagination, and you are not weak. Life right now is hard. Making for yourself a sanctuary, both in your head and in your home. That's going to be what propels you to be able to continue doing this hard work. So now back to this sweater. Why am I having such a hard time letting it go? Part of it, like I said, we can attach emotions to things, and I've attached so much shame to this. I'm so mad at myself. How could I be so careless? Did you hear what I just did? Because I bet you do it sometimes too. I didn't just say, how could I make that mistake? I made it about my very identity. How could I be so careless? But I'm not. This was a mistake. And why don't I instead have the conversation with myself of going, well, Joanna, that was a really boneheaded decision. Yeah, it was. Did you learn anything from it? Oh, yeah. You ever going to make that particular mistake again? Joanna, I really think that I won't. We make mistakes, and that's how we learn. I am smarter today than I was last December, at least in terms of this. And the other part is this. Like I mentioned, we attach feelings and stories and grief. My mom gave this to me for Christmas last year. My mom died in April. This is the last Christmas gift that she will give me. And so I have to work my way through that. And this does not have to be a barrier to my grief. This can be a step in my grief, in letting it go. If you are sitting there right now and you are trying to think, you want to help me, you're thinking of all the different things, maybe I could order a new sweater. I would propose that maybe you are distracting yourself from your own path to freedom. Don't worry about my shrunken sweater. What is your shrunken sweater? When you figure that out and figure out what you're going to do with it, how you're going to let it go, you will find that you have a key to freedom. Would you please join me in a moment of reflection in words and silence, making yourself a little bit more comfortable, closing your eyes if that helps you to go inward. Today, this is a guided meditation. Think about a vacation that you have taken where you went somewhere, a vacation where you felt the most relaxed, the most at peace. Perhaps it was a beach house or maybe a place in the mountains. Maybe it was a cruise, or maybe you went somewhere fabulous, just coming back to your hotel room at night to grab a shower and some sleep. In your mind's eye, look around the room where you're staying. See what you brought with you. Some clothes, shower stuff, maybe a book, camera, but probably not much. You probably didn't bring many of your belongings. You don't seem to miss them. In fact, it feels good to not have to be picking up things. You feel very light, very free. Now think of your home. Think of your room that you spend the most time in. How can you get that same feeling in that room? How can you make your home a vacation getaway? Because ultimately, that's what it is. You get away from your job, the traffic. You go home for the evening or for the weekend. Think about what you have in your home that makes you happy when you look at it. And now slowly open your eyes and rejoin us here at Live Oak. Amen and blessed be.
mission of the Free Church. Our church and our community outreach are supported not from an outside source, but from within. We invite you to make a financial contribution to help sustain this church's vital work, knowing that every gift, large and small, is appreciated and carefully used in service to our mission. The QR code or text information for donations is available at the back of the seat pocket. If you would like to donate by credit card, Apple, or Google Pay, someone from Stewardship can assist you near the kitchen after the service.
Stewardship of this church takes many forms, and all of them are gifts. Gifts of money, gifts of time, gifts of service. The Rose of Recognition is a Texas UU tradition in which we show our appreciation for a volunteer who has shown exemplary service to the church. And we are lucky to have a congregation that is filled with talented members who consistently give their time and talent to making this the beautiful and vibrant church that we enjoy. For their work, organizing Live Oak's presence at Round Rock Pride, and then doing countless numbers and hours of face painting that drew so many people to our booth, we now ask Karen Sontanum and Christina Barton to come forward. On behalf of Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church, it is my honor to present you with a rose and to publicly show appreciation of all the time and energy in the heat you spent showing Round Rock the inclusive love and support that they can find at Live Oak. And now will the congregation please join me in saying thank you.
Your financial gift allows us to continue this kind of good work. As the ushers come forward to receive the offering, I invite you to say with me these words. We are building beloved community with our labor and with our treasure. With gratitude, we receive the offering. May it help us to fulfill our mission in the world.
If you need a final bit of motivation to get you decluttering, let me make you face this reality. We don't know when it is going to happen, but everyone in here one day will leave this life and will shuffle off the mortal coil, whether it is because of homicidal robots or murderous skeletons or something far more mundane. And so then your loved ones are going to go into your house. They're going to have to clear out everything, every drawer, every cabinet, What is it in your house that you really don't want them having to look through? Think about that now. That can be, I don't know about for you, after having done it with my mom's house, and by the way, bless her, my mom was not a clutter bug, and so it was, even with that, it was a lot of work, but at least it wasn't like a bunch of garbage. But that made me come home very soberly and look at my house and go, I don't want to do that to my kids. What is it that you want to leave behind? Your memories and stories, have the trust that those things will continue to live. You don't have to leave all of those objects as well. Thank you for being here today, and may you go forward knowing that you are lovable and loved, and may you spread that love out in the world.
So there are many ways to connect, learn, and grow with each other today. Our nursery is open until 12:30 for our youngest friends. From 11:15 to 12:15, we have an all-ages UU makerspace in room 201. We have Bring Your Own Spiritual Practice in room 208, and today's practice is chanting. And at 12:30, the meditation group meets in room 208 for quiet reflection and shared stillness. And next week, we've got two big things happening. One is the annual water communion. And so bring a little bit of water from your travels, your garden, your home. We'll put those in a common bowl and kick off our new church year. And then after that, we'll meet for a potluck, the Fed and Informed potluck, where we will give you the chance to learn all about what's happening in the church and ways that you can get involved. So bring water and a dish next Sunday. Okay, in room 105, Simpson's Social Justice, if you didn't hear that. However you choose to engage, we're so glad you came, and we hope to connect with you more. Please rise in body or spirit for hymn number 116, I'm on my way, and remain standing for the extinguishing of our chalice. To each other as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish the flame here that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. May it guide your way until we are together again. It's been such a gift to be together today. A special thanks to today's home team who provided hospitality, worship, and tech leadership. That includes Judy, Chris, Larice, Mark, Tina, Cassandra, Barbara, Ren, Mike, and Don. Let's continue that hospitality by taking the next 5 minutes to talk with someone we don't know yet. Members, be sure to introduce yourself to any visitors we have. They're the ones with the handwritten name tags. Show them where to find the visitors' table and the coffee. And may we all know the blessings of fellowship.